Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it to the final week. Last week of matches. Averaging 3 to 5 matches a week for basically an entire year. It is extremely exhausting.
Exhausting.
Nothing against Christian and the Schmoedown, but please don't do this again. Like, for us reactors, it is extremely exhausting. It's exhausting. Hey, Kylie.
Exhausting. Yeah.
Thanks
Hi, Kylie.
for tuning in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it as always. If you want to leave a like on the video, we would appreciate that too. If you haven't already, that goes to everyone watching. Make sure you like the video and leave a comment as to why Jeff sucks. That always helps too.
Yeah, fuck you, Buck.
So yeah, I have to. Yeah. But no, this is a final week of matches. Only 3 matches this week. It was the 2 semifinal matches of the 2021 singles tournament. Maddie Gunner, thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to see you in literally just over a week, like 9 days. 9 days. The amazing
We're gonna be
Brandy
staying
Parker.
under the same roof.
Brandy Parker, thanks for tuning in. Brandy, appreciate it as always. You're one of the biggest supporters out of anyone in this space. Very excited to see you.
She's just a supporter of people, and we are a supporter of her. Brandy's great. Brandy's the best.
Yeah. Brandy starts a long vacation today. Very much deserves, Brandy. So hope you enjoy your time off. Very excited to see you here in just over a week. It's going to be a very long 4-day weekend for Spectacular. It really.
Wait,
it was
4-day weekend. Who has a 4-day weekend? I'm there for a whole fucking week.
I'm there well, actually it's 5 days because I Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I'm actually
I'm there Wednesday to Tuesday, but like my flight is Tuesday morning. So am I really there Tuesday?
It doesn't count. Yeah, I leave Monday.
Maybe for breakfast in LAX. Oh, hey, look at that. We got
Harold loves
John
the idea.
Lastrina. What?
You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. Give me a second. I
don't know what just happened there. Buck just froze. I'm not sure what's happening here. But I don't know what he's doing. But in the meantime, Lastrina reminded us about our merch store that we apparently have in our Streamlabs, which we have our Streamlabs here. Maybe you'll be able to help us get Buck some new internet so he doesn't freeze the way he has. However, you see the shirt? Look at the shirt here. The shirt is one that Buck threw the image on. We were going to go in eventually and then fix it so that way the logo would be actually more blown up on a proper scale the way a t-shirt should have. And then we forgot about that. And it's been a year. So, however, we just lost him completely. However, yeah, we got that there, and it's a very comfortable shirt. We have the shirt, we have the hoodie, we have a mug as well. And thank you, John Lastrina, for yes, it's a pretty sweet shirt, but it's pretty sweet because you're wearing it, dude, and because you got one. Twins, absolutely. John Lastrina, the first owner of merchandise before any of us.
No, I'm first. I got it technically first.
No. You were the first one to have it officially in your possession. He was the first one to quote unquote own it because he purchased it first.
Okay, we'll give that to him. Yeah, like Brandy said, go ahead and go there.
Go buy our subpar merch.
Our subpar merch. It is very subpar. I took the logo of our video, I submitted it, and they make the merch. We have a sweater.
Yeah, we didn't even try to resize it. That was the first draft. Forgot to do a second.
And I was like, yeah. So,
thank you.
Sorry I cut out there. I was wired in and my Ethernet's not working, but I'm on Wi-Fi right now. Yeah, right? I'm like, it's supposed to be the other way around. Wi-Fi's I don't know. But I'm here now. So what I was trying to pull up was I'm not sure how far back I have to go, but
pretty far back. No, I know exactly. right?
No, that is not. That is definitely not what I'm looking for. That is definitely. I would never.
This is
ever.
great use of our Buck. Great content.
You
Good
know
job.
what? Screw you. I want to give a shout out to the great John Lestrina, rocking the merch.
Hey!
Rocking the merch. He is
Look at that guy.
He's a great family member. There's no doubt about that. John
Absolutely.
Lestrina is amazing. So John,
Family.
You know, Buck, it's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race your car. There he is.
Absolute silver fox. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Brandy.
Woo!
Is that a Voldemort quote?
Absolutely. It's definitely Voldemort because we all know that Lestrina's favorite franchise of all time is Harry Potter, bar none.
Yes. He's always quoting Harry Potter. That's
no, Monica. All right. So, what do we do on this show? What is this show about again?
We technically talk Schmoedown, but we're not very good at it. We take breaks for weeks at a time sometimes. And then also
I'll report the video on your channel so that way you'll never have anyone else see it again. So no one will be able to see that. Trying to just mic me every time that I have, truth.
You have the same control as I do.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Buck hates it when I speak truth to power.
Well, Bateman's wasn't really a beard.
It was facial hair. It grew in enough, but also the difference is that he had this much, and then he ended up shaving it. He had like a certain amount, and Buck is just full on mountain man with the stuff that he has. So,
yeah, and it grows fairly quickly. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably trim it a little bit before Spectacular, so it looks a little bit better. It doesn't look too bad, but no, we do talk Schmoedown here. Like I stated earlier, that's not what I wanted to do. We had the two semifinal matches. We had first William the Beast Bibiani versus Downtown Griffy Newman. This should have been the championship match, is all I'm going to say. This probably should have been the championship match. I thought this was one of the definitely better matches of the singles tournament. Two heavyweights there. Griffy Newman is just adding to that resume for Rookie of the Year, Singles Player of the Year, and Overall Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's everyone was like so locked in the first half of the year with everything Marisol was doing, winning and then defending and stuff. And like, yes, that's true. She did awesome. Some of the competition, the level of difficulty with some stuff, like the kind of players that Newman has blown through, it's very difficult. Like if Marisol defends against Newman, she's the single player of the year, I think. Singles player of the year. If Newman beats her, he is unquestionably the singles player of the year. And as far as like, and talking about Newman when it comes to, we'll get to this. I have thoughts. But when it comes to Newman for teams, the big question is, of course, like, King Arthur, it's still fairly new, so I wouldn't give them team of the year even if they won. I think no matter what the decision is.
New team of the year, maybe? I'd say
new team of the year. New team of the year. They're definitely in contention, I'd say. I still wouldn't give it to them at the moment, I think, because they've only had a couple matches. I want to see what happens at Spectacular. But I would say that, at the end of the day, team of the year is Shazam. Shazam is absolutely team of the year. By far. But we're not talking about Shazam versus King Arthur. We're talking about Bibiani versus Griffin Newman. And I don't think that that's accurate there at the moment still, because Marisol for singles, but Newman for overall player when Marisol has the belt, but if Newman wins the belt off Marisol, then he overcomes her by he jumps right over her for singles player because of just the sheer number of wins he had, the dominating nature of so many of them, the level of difficulty as they went along, the kind of people he played versus some of the people she played, even though none of her matches are gimmies, by the way. There's nothing to take away from that. It's just like the number of times like that. It's
to me,
it's hard
second
to see.
place for player of the year is Bibbs.
Bibbs
because
is huge in the stuff he's had. Yeah.
What he's done with teams is simply just amazing to watch this year. And he made it to the semifinals of the singles tournament.
And he had other good singles matches this year too. Outside of the tournament.
Marisol in teams was okay this year. She wasn't amazing. She has won 5 matches in a row in singles. So it's like, what is more important? Like doing very well in both or doing really, really well in one and okay in the other? Like, I feel like Bibbs's resume, again, we have to see what happens at Spectacular. That is what is nice about these awards is they're voted on after Spectacular. Because a lot of these awards, I think, will be decided by that night. I know who I will be voting for. A lot of them, like Rookie of the Year, Singles Player of the Year, Overall Player of the Year, for me, is still up in the air. It all depends on what happens.
There's a whole lot of stuff. And also, on top of all of that, when we think about stuff, a lot of Player of the Year, to me, also, we have to think about, like, so much of quote-unquote Player of the Year and shit like that always ends up and goes into like us focusing on singles and teams. Like, just because someone plays really well in those two categories, they're the same questions. They're the same stuff in both of those things. It's just how many people are playing with those questions each time around. We need to really consider stuff when it comes to Star Wars and when it comes to IG, because like Star Wars, you got Harper up there right now. Harper, I believe, is just as much in contention because of the path he had going through
Star Wars Player of the Year. Like, what Andrew did is impressive.
Yeah,
but a rookie running through the division, defending at Spectacular. For me, I would probably give it to Harper.
Yeah.
If he loses, it could be up to a Dimala. It could be the battle.
Why don't we talk about Spectacular stuff in a moment after we get through here? Because we got Bibiani versus Griffin here. And one thing that's obvious here is that they're both top tier players. Yeah. But also, round 1 was rough.
Yeah,
which is something you could say more than once recently. Round
the
1
riders have been rough. Like these last few matches in the singles tournament. The riders were flexing.
They were flexing, but also like they're not saying things that are so far out of bounds where it's like, that's ridiculous. Why would they ask that question? Like here, they had difficult questions. They're all gettable, and also it has to do with who the players are, where they are in a tournament. It's like when it comes to Griffin Newman, they have it in they have that whole thing about that his whole like, oh, he's the best player to have never played the game thing, and then he came in and now he's like blown through all of it. I mean, he is a main writer for some of the match stuff, so you can't actually blame him.
I got this question like that.
It's because it's when I say classic, obviously in like 2004 is a classic, but it is a contemporary comedy classic like that. Like in terms of a lot of the people growing up with that the age group for that one, like it's right in like our prime age group, which is about 10 years younger or so than Bibbs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so maybe he missed that one, because he didn't spend as much time seeing that or hearing that. But it's like, I don't know. It's a quote that I feel like has been quoted and referenced a lot. And yeah, I got it right away. I got it right away because it's such an easily identifiable quote. It's like being asked, like, all right, what 2000s comedy features the line, "Did we just become best friends?" Simple. You know it, right? Yeah, see? You got a question right. See, it happens.
The movies of the last 20, 30 years, and if they're well known, I do really well. But Like I would say every match I might get 1 or 2 right.
Yeah.
I did really well actually in Newman's round 2 because Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
There was also I got all of those questions right. But like the hardest one was like identifying who the race of alien
Yeah.
of those 2 aliens. But then like what gets you to it is they're asking the question of 2 characters that are obviously not main characters. The villain is Christopher Lloyd, who's a Klingon, and he has a whole group with him. And if they're asking these characters and they're of note and they're an alien name, chances are they're going to be either Vulcan or Klingon based on just relationships with them in a movie. And around there, like I went 50-50 on it, and I'm like, those names just sound like they'd end up probably being of a Klingon one, so I got it that way. Like it's sometimes it's just like deduction that you got to use. The rest of them, I mean, like they were pretty easy questions. Like which one came out in 1979? Well, probably the only one that came out in the 70s, which came out in the immediate aftermath of Star Wars, like stuff like that. So those ones weren't difficult. They weren't difficult by a long shot. Speaking of an answer that involves saying the motion
picture. The amazing Jesse
I hope
Swift.
that Frank Janish and whoever else have updated your accuracy to account for that question actually being correct, Jesse.
Jesse is another person I'm very excited to meet.
Very excited to see Jesse.
There's
I think you might
a
be
lot of people that
couch.
I've met this way. I haven't met Jeff like live in person.
Yeah, I don't know who this fucking guy is.
You've just been spending a lot of time with me all year. Literally the last year and a half, really.
Yeah.
Since we started doing it.
Clearly, I don't have anything better to do with my time.
I have failed.
Yeah, Jesse, it's definitely your fault and completely your fault and only your fault. So I want you to shoulder this burden and, cry. Cry pretty hard.
Went into sudden death, and Newman wins on the second question. So it didn't go too far there into sudden death. Just feel bad for I feel like the singles belt is just the one belt that keeps eluding Bibiani. He gets very close.
He got it, and then it was and what does God need with a exhibition match?
I mean, we had a Patreon, I think season 6.
Yeah, they should just make a whole fucking division. They got more good movies than Star Wars do, and they have just as many movies to choose from.
They do.
Yeah, you should. You should have that Wendy's. I hope that you choke on your Baconator.
Why are you being so harsh to Jesse?
I don't know. I love Jesse.
Do you though?
All right, so I don't know.
Congrats to Newman just adding on to the Finstock.
Yeah, why don't we keep moving on so we can congratulate him again before the end of this?
So the other semifinal match was Janine the Machine versus Craig the Barbarian. Craig needed this run in the singles tournament. I think out of anyone, he needed this run just because before the tournament, he didn't have it's odd that he's never had a teams match.
Yeah, you want to know something? I mean, Buck, you're in the fantasy league with me, and before
you mean the one I don't care about?
Yeah, right before the tournament got underway, because of Barbarian's year, I somehow didn't have much faith in him, and I had the chance to make a trade, and I traded Barbarian for Kalinowski, and Kalinowski then won his defense against Amaru, and I kept Liz Shannon Miller thinking she'll do okay against Shazam, and then they got fucking knocked out, and I got no points from that in the fantasy league, and then Barbarian went on a fucking tear, and if I had traded Liz Shannon Miller instead of Barbarian, I would have won the fucking division for our side, and I would be the one in our little spectacular finals. But no, we got Paul PLD, who wrote the rules himself in the finals of the game that he wrote. So, you know.
Yeah, you weren't happy about that. You were not happy when you found out it's just the winner of the two divisions. You're like, well, that's stupid.
It is. It's very stupid. And that's why I said maybe next time we should write it in the rules and not just randomly in the chat. But I'm not bitter. It's fine.
You
so
sure?
Yeah, Janine's.
You sure?
Janine's round one was it wasn't great, but you know,
it's weird. She got the
Craig's
first two.
wasn't great either. Craig's wasn't great either. Like
no, he only got 5.
You know, he won. He got 5. He got 5 out of 8, which is not bad, but like, you know, it could have been better. I know I did the question. I did the questions. I played along to those questions. I got 7 out of 8. I knew 7 out of 8 of them. I did one of those things where when the question was Leslie Mann, and I quickly said Leslie Bibb.
I got that one.
Say Leslie Mann. Yeah, but like I knew it was Leslie Mann. I quickly said Leslie Bibb. But it's like when I type it out, it's like one of those things where it's like, obviously I mean to say man. So it's like one of those like 1 second correction things. So I counted as I knew it. So I got 7 out of 8. I didn't know the Tom Petty one because I don't know Tom Petty's, you know, film work or whatnot. I only know a handful of like the most famous songs for him and the Heartbreakers. So, and I don't know Edward Burns. And because I haven't studied enough Cameron Diaz, I didn't know that. And she used to be a Wheel Slice. So you have an ex-Wheel Slice with the writer-director star, the year it came out, and scores and soundtrack with a very famous musician. They're all listed in that question. That was a very solid round one. It's a curveball round one because it's not a big movie, but you know it's a pretty solid one. I think that Janine overall, she rebounded really well in round 2. And then she did okay in round 3 up until, you know, she couldn't quite hit it right there at the end. So,
I mean, you know, she gained the 3-point, the 3 points she was down. She gained through round 2. She got 7 points.
Mm-hmm. She got them, which was big. She
got all decades in round 3. 90s, 80s, 70s.
Mm-hmm. And in descending order.
Yeah.
So it was just 90s. Like each one more difficult than the last.
I'm just
keep yawning. Excuse me. Janine had a great year, which is so
is she
it's weird.
Is she comeback player of the year? I know she didn't have many matches in season 7, so I'm like, what is she coming back from?
She didn't have any matches last year?
No, I said she didn't have many matches in season 7.
You said here's what I'd say. I say she's someone who could be in contention because of the kind of way of the run the mini run she just went on in the tournament and her overall year with the way she played, and a lot of her losses for the most part were narrow defeats. However, she had like a lot of those big ones where she played incredibly well.
Yeah, she was 1 and 2.
She lost because someone else played just slightly better than her. In the ones where she won, most of them she played okay. It's odd because it's like when I say played okay, it's obvious she knows a lot of answers and she was able to get very far. There's a reason why she got as far as she did. But when it comes to who is the comeback player of the year, I have to think about it a little more. She's definitely in contention. I don't think that she'd get there all the way because we're thinking of how incredible she played, but a lot of those times that she played that well didn't actually end in wins. So it'd be the same thing as like, you know, we're remembering how great she played, but they were losses. No one seems to remember that Paul Preston, when he lost to JTE and that derailed his matches like for the year early, he played a perfect game until he missed his 5. And everyone just thinks about how he lost.
Yeah.
So
same thing happened to Janine versus Marisol.
Exactly. But with Janine, it was how incredible she played. With Preston, it was like, well, he lost JTE then.
I cannot confirm or deny.
What?
That alligator. I can't say yes or no. You'll just have to watch the movie and find out.
I don't actually care enough to watch the movie. You could just tell me.
I'm not going to. Because I would have to like you to tell you the truth.
That's fine. You don't have to like me. You just have to live with me.
I don't live with you. That is Paulina's job.
Talk about like you have to continue to go on in your life, living knowing that I am in your life.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, this is all your fault. You could cut off this at any point.
So can you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't dislike you, so that's the difference.
I just don't like your glasses.
Oh, if it's you don't like my glasses, you're fine with my movie opinions. I understand. I'm right. Man of Steel is a fucking trash fire. So.
Why'd you have to bring that up? That triggers me every time.
Yeah, I get it. Triggers me too when
Jesse,
man, making you fanboys angry is so fun. But anyways, so congratulations to Barbarian, Craig, having a really great run in the singles tournament, going all the way to the end, to the finals against Griffin Newman. Janine had a hell of a run this year. Didn't always eke out in a win, but she showed vast improvement year over year. So that's why, yeah, she should be in contention. I don't think necessarily she is the comeback player of the year. Like I said, probably have to think about it more, but I do think that she is comeback material.
So I think she'll be nominated for sure, or she should be nominated for sure.
She should be.
I just I would really have to, I think about it more. Like comeback, just the concept of comeback player of the year in the Schmoedown is so. Jesse.
Oh, you want to praise the movie about Super?
I gotta cut this man off.
Oh yes, praise him. You fucking praise Super Jesus. Praise him.
We are not getting into this discussion right now because
we're not going to get into it. It's a bad movie. End of story. But congratulations, Craig.
Jesse, if you want to do a cross channel,
congratulations, Craig. And after that,
this is a shit show. This is what our channel is. It's great.
Yeah.
No, Jesse.
Stop trying to promote doing things with other people right now. We're trying to get through a conversation. Barbarian versus Griffy Newman, the singles finals. This is where it's at. The Finstock Exchange Invitational. Who knew that this?
No, we need to come up with a different term. That is a corruption thing. Like they're the one that started it. So I think we need to come up with something different. Like the Fins.
Here's the thing. What is an invitational? What is an invitational?
I think you meant shut this shit down, but shit this shit down doesn't make any sense, Jesse.
What is an invitational? Do you know?
I don't know how to put in the words. It's an event where people gather.
Right. It's a competition open only to those invited. So what's funny about that is they told everyone by the end they were going to be the ones saying that. Yes, only corruption can use invitational. That's what Shannon said. Shannon didn't make it to the finals.
But she does have two people at Spectacular.
She has two people in Spectacular who are both people who have defended more than once. Or that have defended their belts. Yes. But they have, what is the finals? But that's two people from the Finstock Exchange. The Invitational is totally valid term for it. It is. It's the Finstock Exchange versus the Finstock Exchange. They each one took over their sides of the bracket, and then we got Craig versus Griffin Newman.
They get 4 points regardless. They get 4 points
regardless. And because of that, boom, at the end of this, we got Griffin Newman eking out a victory, going off to go up against Marisol. And when I say eking, I mean to say Craig had a very strong.
Yes.
Yep. Craig had a very strong first 3 rounds. And then Craig, who something happened, and he ended up with a total amount of 1 point difference. He gained 1 point in fast money. Out of a possible 10 gained, he got 1.
So he answered 5, got 3 right, missed 2. So that's only a +1.
Mm-hmm.
You could see in
I
his
have a
body language.
Sally Fields. Yeah.
You could tell in his body language when Christian said you got +1 and he missed, and the Sally Fields thing, like his body language was just like, oh, you got.
He's like, yeah.
Like,
so
it's not like he was checked out. It just
I have a
looked like
problem with it. Because he knew
demoralized.
I have
just
a
looked
problem
defeated after that.
I have a big problem with the Sally Fields thing because they had people under benefit of the doubt throughout the year. There have been a couple times where someone had said a name and the person's name was slightly off, but they knew exactly what they were trying to say, and it worked out okay. And they got the name when they were off very slightly. The whole fucking point of benefit of the doubt when it was sold to everyone that they were told, the example was Idris Elba / Alba would be accepted. Sally Fields, of course he said, Sally Field. Like, okay, Sally Fields. He added the S. It does sort of change last name, but it's obvious what he was trying to say. Under just how they've used the rule this year, it should have gone through. That's not to say, oh, this would have been the deciding factor and he would have won.
Didn't.
But it's just another case of where the benefit of the doubt rule has been used inconsistently, case by case, without there being any sort of plan behind it. And there is a plan, but it's ignored based on who it is and what situation. And you can't challenge stuff in a speed round because of arbitrary rulemaking for that. You can't challenge it. You can't argue. You can't say, well, obviously under benefit of the doubt, because some of these rules only apply when, thank you, AJ. Yeah. The not being able to challenge it does feel wrong. It's weird. It's like trying to put these in specifically in places just to stop it from being able to be argued feels like a way to minimize the potential for people to be able to argue on their own behalf, because you just don't want to hear a challenge or you don't want to hear an argument. And obviously maybe he saw that and he wasn't going to try to fight it, but I don't know. It feels like you go into it, if you have something that's that tiny of a slip, I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't sit right with me with that one. He should have gotten it. It doesn't necessarily mean that he would have won. Still could have gone to him because he still
missed his 5, but it could have been the type of thing where him missing that by the one letter could have affected his thing. Like he was like, oh my God.
But not only that, that meant 19 to 20, right? If he got that point, that wouldn't have been a -1, that would have been a +1. He would have been 21 to 20. He would have chosen numbers. He could have chosen numbers differently. It could have gone in the opposite order. And then he would have actually it could have been a different question that he got. Could have been a different outcome. We don't know.
A lot of things are weird. Yes, there's so many different outcomes that could have happened based on Craig getting to choose his numbers.
The multiverse is breaking, guys. December 14th, in theaters only. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Brian, if past history if they're consistent with it, then yes, this would probably be correct. They did it this year with Merle and Snyder. It took a while for us to get that match, but if past history,
it took a while to get that match, and now only one of them is in the league. So
that is true. That is very true. Congrats to Newman. Won the singles tournament.
Newman missing the Shrek question. He overthought it. He overthought that one.
And the thing is, he was certain that's what it was. And I'm like, no, it's the first one. Like that's
totally overthought. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, No, he says that they're talking about layers because they're talking about going over the lava and stuff. That's all the first movie.
Mhm.
And like animation is like a huge strong suit for him, like directors and animation. Another thing to notice. We got Griffin Newman, who is notable for Blank Check, where they go through director filmographies, which is why directors is always such a strong suit for him. You know what director he probably hasn't studied as much? I mean, we don't know what they do in their study sessions, but you know what director he probably doesn't have as much of a strength in? Alfred Hitchcock. Because the betting round today was Alfred Hitchcock.
He bet
one. 1 point on Alfred Hitchcock. A very famous
Marisol, I doubt
director.
you're watching this. You and everyone in corruption probably picked up on this. The fact
Alfred
that
Hitchcock, if you're watching this, big fan of your work, not so much of your personal life.
the man's been dead for a long time, so that's just it. But what I'm saying is they probably caught on that. The fact that he only bet 1 on Hitchcock, maybe it is something to consider, depending on how Marisol is with Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm. This is what I was going to mention as well. Was he also spun away from it too? He spun away from it. He bet very little on it. Hitchcock is not his guy. So I mean, look, there's a chance. Marisol's very good with some classic stuff. I know she loves Jimmy Stewart. There can be some crossover there. She studied enough with Hitchcock things. That could be a possible weakness of his to try to exploit. Yeah, literally was just saying that there. Boom. Yep, that's exactly it.
It's like you and AJ share a brain.
No, we just shared a watermelon smash.
But no, Griffy Newman has the potential to have a singles belt and a teams belt at the end of the season as a rookie. Again, he's not a normal rookie, as he has a podcast where he talks about movies all the time. Right. So it's not that surprising that he's doing this well.
Remove this year. Remove 2021's session or season, okay? Who had the greatest rookie season of all time?
Last year. Collins. But he only dominated in single, like teams, he was
okay.
Middle of the road.
He was okay. There is a very good chance that when this is done, Griffin Newman will have most obviously had the single greatest rookie season for a singles teams player.
And I don't know if it's possible to beat what he's done
in singles and teams. I just want to clarify that because there's a whole lot of hype surrounding him right now because that's what everyone's been watching. That's
recency bias because it's
exactly recency bias because that's why everyone's like, oh my God, Star Wars rookie or whatever. It's going to be Nikki. Everyone forgets that Harper did literally all of that and got the belt. She's behind him on that still. So she has to go and take care of this guy. One of the big things there is like, which is why I never discount Harper and I never discount some of the IG players, but like, hey Shug, what's up? The Star Wars players have to study and learn things in a completely different way. This is the movie trivia Schmoedown, unless you're in the Star Wars team. Unless you're in Star Wars.
Then it's just Star Wars in general.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't beat Damon. Everyone else beat Damon this year. Yeah.
I feel like the thing is where Harper went, I believe he was the third overall pick in the draft. I think he had a higher expectation that he had to do well. So I think the pressure on him was greater. So I feel like he knew he couldn't lose. Like he couldn't lose at all. Right. And his first couple matches, I agree with this.
I would agree. I'd put Dimmy behind at the moment only because I put Dimmy in third at the moment only because Newman has 2 belt matches while she has 1 upcoming and he has
that's
the only reason.
I think there's an outcome where Nikki DiMolanta can still get Rookie of the Year, where she beats Harper. Newman, I think if he loses either one of those,
two of them.
One of the two of them. And also it just depends on how. That's true. He did beat him at Dragon Con several times, by the way.
And Dragon Con is also what's crazy is like everyone's like, yeah, Dragon Con's not the same thing. Dragon Con's
It's more.
Dragon Con's not movie trivia Schmoedown. You know what else isn't movie trivia Schmoedown? The Star Wars division of the movie trivia Schmoedown, because you have to study books and books and books and books of shit. Yeah, like Ross's 5-pointer against Nikki was knowing a reference to a character that was on a page in a book that was printed out, where the character showed up in a single frame of the final edit because the book was printed before the final edit was created and they omitted the character almost completely from the final cut. Like the crazy shit that they have to study to pull from outside of what is in a fucking movie. It's why no one should discount the Star Wars players from that. It's just, yeah. And by the transitive property, since who beat Andrew DiMolanta? And if he beats Nikki DiMolanta, who beat Alex this year?
Yeah.
Hit it and quit it, baby. Absolutely. Radis for Rookie of the Year.
Christian, by the way,
character-wise, yes.
Good luck in trying to narrow down the Rookie of the Year selections, because you can't nominate every rookie.
And here's this here. Gold Leader, yeah, I think that it's because everyone's so focused on Nikki because she won. Gold Leader's had more matches, and he missed because of a fucking letter or whatever against Harper, which shows like it's Gold Leader is right up there. He's very strong. He just hadn't happened to get to that title shot yet.
Also,
King Khan is
like all of a sudden I'd be trying to prove that I'm not crazy when I knew I wasn't crazy.
Right. We have that courtesy of Gold Leader, so
yes, absolutely. King Khan, Jeffrey Khan is very good. He has a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of information, obviously. He's a little bit behind, though, on everything because, yes, he had a very long day that affected his play in the finals, where he didn't do well in that round one against Press Room. But at the end of the day, it's still there on the record. And he lost to Lon Harris in round one of the singles tournament. Those two things are ones that definitely are a knock against him. Losing in round one of the tournament is definitely like probably a much harsher knock because they still won against Press Room, obviously. And he was much more open about that there. So, but he is obviously a threat. He's very strong. He's definitely going to continue to go far. I mean, he's in a fucking title shot. So, I mean, there's only so much quote unquote criticism you can do there. But yeah, I mean, on the one hand, Khan has a title shot, Gold Leader doesn't. Gold Leader's matches, though, with the kind of difficulty Star Wars has, I would currently put Evan up there. If Khan wins a bout, I agree. I would put him over Gold Leader. I'd also put I'd put them both over Radis, and the reason for that is, Radis, very, very fun. But that's all about the fucking character. His actual gameplay hasn't been as what's the word I'm looking for? Desirable.
There's two people we left out: Amaru and Horowitz. Like I said, how are you going to narrow this down to 5 to 6?
That's exactly
how are you going to do this?
We're trying to focus on fucking 5 people, and it's like, yeah, but what about these other 8 people that are also awesome, and some of them just as deserving? Shit, that's exactly right. Josh Horowitz did great this year. He didn't get to the end of anything. He got knocked out in the singles finals, though. He got knocked out in the singles tournament, and he got a TKO loss in teams, and they lost in their first match in their first tournament that they were in as well. So Josh, as good as he was in some other stuff, I would actually not have him up there at the top. Amaru had he had Mike on the ropes, and he just couldn't get that 3-pointer to win. Character work, Lomas was great with character work. He had 2 matches. He lost one. He did okay in the other one and won. I would definitely not put him up there for a Rookie of the Year. I think he's just a fun character. And when you talk to him, he's also just fucking funny. I've had the pleasure of getting to be on stream with him a couple times now, and Lomas is very, very funny. Yes, that I agree with that whole thing of undefeated. I'm just looking at the type of gameplay and accuracy and stuff like that for something like Radis. So yes, he's undefeated, but we also sometimes you have to weigh in exactly like what that is, because like if that level of accuracy that he was doing was put in with the kind of questions that they were giving in like the second half of the singles tournament, I don't think that he would have survived as much with that. So I don't disagree. But
I think the reason people forget about Amaru is like
silent.
he hasn't had a match in like 6 to 8 weeks. So if people forget,
it's a recency bias, baby. That's exactly it.
I think people see the list of nominees. I think they'll be like, oh yeah, that like they'll remember. Newman has the opportunity. If he wins both matches at Spectacular, he could be singles player of the year, player of the year. Could be included new team of the year, rookie of, like he could dominate the awards.
Yeah, I don't know. She did okay in the free for all, but yeah, she didn't do well. You know what's funny is when thinking about the free for all, Newman, if it wasn't for the fact that Ben got skirted through on that that Muppets thing, you know, because challenges aren't allowed, and we don't know what would have happened if that would have been allowed to happen with that Muppets question. Because like a lot of people noticed that there, Ben did great in free for all. He absolutely deserved MVP. But if that happened and that didn't work out in his favor, like think about it. It could have been Jacob London or Griffin Newman as MVP. If Griffin Newman also had free for all MVP, like he did really well there too, man. That's another just thing, like little like feather in his cap, in his pink cap.
Okay, so I did. I couldn't remember if I did that. I did include the categories. Okay, nope, that's all I did.
Yeah, Kim Taylor Foster too. Like, things just didn't end up working out because of her Australia stuff.
Yeah. This scene was awesome. Did you watch this scene? Winston's like, "You're gone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye."
So here's what I'll say about that scene. Awesome's not the word I'd describe. That's only because the way that it was structured, it all felt very fake, like staged. Like I don't believe the things that they're saying, but that's more of a dramatic thing. Like in terms of the actual quote unquote ramifications of it, okay. I needed to do something with Chandru coming back as like a real heel, because so much of this stuff now has someone who, when he's in person and the kind of things he does, he is an incredible, insufferable heel. He is so good at it. And this stuff that they're doing has just made him feel so small. It makes him feel so like whiny and childish, and like it's not so much a heel as like just a child that didn't get what he wanted, so he's gonna complain. He literally was like, "I hate you. I hate Paul. I hate Winston. I hate Parker. I hate Kalinowski." He's just like, he sounds whiny.
Yeah, that was one thing.
Material.
That's the one thing about this scene I didn't like. He came off extremely whiny.
Winston has aced everything that he's been in the very few scenes he was in. Maybe he would have been in more scenes if Swag did better. But hey,
I'm curious to see who Chandru is going to be with next year.
If anyone, because remember, there's going to be a combination. There's going to be people that are going to be on factions of 5 people, and then there's going to be floaters. We don't even know how many factions there's going to be. We don't know. There's a potential that all current 8 ones will definitely be around, but we're not exactly certain. We don't know. There's a chance that maybe they won't.
I think we'll know more in about 10 days.
Yeah, we'll know more.
I think a lot will be announced as Spectacular, or I'm hoping.
Having not watched wrestling, I don't get it. But what I can say is that he definitely doesn't remind me of Chris Jericho in the Schmoedown, because that would involve not winning something to be like Chris Jericho.
No, Chris Jericho in actual wrestling.
No,
Was
I
very
know.
good.
Yes. I understood that.
But no, the season is over. All we have is our,
Mhm.
unfortunately, 5 matches. That's spectacular. Roca is playing Dan Murrell. I love Dan in that scene, by the way.
Dan was great, and he sold it way more than some other people. So here's this here. Roca v Mance 3, it's spectacular. Everyone just started talking about it, like, and hyping up this thing, being like, it's gonna be Scott Mance. Scott Mance wants nothing to do with it, it seems. He's never responded about this shit. He's never liked it or whatever. When people tweet shit or whatever, everyone's just saying it. Everyone's saying it's gonna be him. Everyone's saying it's gonna be Snyder. Snyder's out. Snyder's gone. He said he was retired. He hasn't done anything else and talked about anything online since. He's not a part of it anymore. So people were hyping up this stuff because they happen to be rivalries. So it had to be something of people that happened to be still involved. So that automatically removed Mance and it removed Snyder. And like, yes, oh, a big twist. Maybe it would have happened on stage and it would have been a surprise. Cool. How about this? Now, I'm not the one who originally came up with this, but I know that it would have been better. I think that because, I think that it would have been better if, look, it's still Dan. Dan makes sense because Dan's also he's out of it being in the, I get it. It's about former champion versus former champion doing that. I don't mind.
When was the last time Roca won a championship? Like a legit championship?
He defended with Dan.
No, because they got that match because of Dan. They didn't get it because of Roca as a team. They got it because of Dan winning the free for all.
No, I get
like
no,
Roca's
no. That was corrupt. That was their corruption one. I'm talking about the last one that they got. Remember when they defended against Shazam?
Was that last year?
They defended against Shazam. They took the belt off corruption. Then they defended against Shazam. When they defended against Shazam, that was one more thing that Roca was finally able to have done. It was the first time that he ever defended a belt. And that was finally something that he could check off. Yes.
Leo, was that? Okay.
2019.
Right, so that was.
And that was the very first time he was ever able to defend. He had never defended a belt without Dan's help.
Yeah.
In that case, like now on the other hand, in many of the founding father cases, Roca was actually the stronger player sometimes. Dan kind of like he had to pick up the slack a little bit from Dan sometimes. So saying it was the first time he got it with Dan's help isn't, it makes it sound more derogatory towards John when it's not supposed to be. But at the same time, the only time that he ever did defend a belt is with Dan. So,
I don't think if it being a 3 or 5 matters because Christian said it's not for points. So it's more of an ego. It's an ego thing.
But here's the other thing here. When it comes to Dan over Roca over Dan for this, a couple big things. Dan won a belt. He lost a belt this year. Roca hasn't. Dan went further in tournaments than Roca did with teams. And also he did singles. Roca did not do singles. So, but Dan's accuracy in some matches has been incredible, and in others, not as great this year. Roca has, over the course of his career, a much lower accuracy rate. However, Roca, I believe, has accuracy-wise, I think he's done better, I think, than Dan has this year in a lot of cases. I don't know exactly the exact stats on it, but I think Roca has had a killer year even when he lost in a lot of this stuff. So it's very difficult because Dan's coming off a couple of very, very rough losses. So maybe that lights a fire up in his ass or whatever. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm pulling for Dan because I love Dan. I've gotten to know him more, and he's a great guy. But I don't know. I can see it going either way, just with the way that things have gone this year. And then I don't think Matt. Here's the thing again, like this is all like pipe dream stuff of like what we wish would happen based on things in the past. Matt Nost also wants nothing to do with the Schmoedown. He's over it. He's done. He's gone. He doesn't care about this stuff. So that's not going to be him. It's going to be the normal people. Christian's going to be there with. It's going to be the people that created the Schmoedown, that help foster this character, that help bring him to the next level, that are going to be the ones that are going to be overseeing that match. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's going to be Christian and Mark for all 5 matches.
Yeah.
Just know that when Roka is introduced, I will be booing incredibly loud. I will be so loud. Because I think I'll be sitting in the second row. As soon as he walks by, I'm doing this. I'm going to be so loud. It's going to be fun.
I got the elite ticket. Which means like, I can get the front row if I want, but also like I think we're gonna have like a press section too or something for us, which I don't know what we would do as press, because like we're not gonna be fucking recording, are we? We don't have a website. We're just gonna be there to talk to them, probably. I don't know what we're gonna do, but like to me, it doesn't matter as much to me with that. So I'm probably gonna be a floater. Like in New York, I was a floater. I got to. As a member of like the Schmoedown press people, like I was up in the balconies with players that time, and it was a blast getting to be there with them, and just I enjoyed it a whole lot. So I don't know, I might float around, it might be fun, but I don't know. I don't know about that being that close. It depends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going based off the information that I have right now. So we'll have to see what happens, because I know Christian said that asked about basically doing a press conference. Again, I don't know if that's pretty spectacular.
It was going to happen. We emailed because he said for everyone to email. And it looks like we're not the only one who's inquired on the Facebook page, like, hey, any update? But yeah. Just stay quiet. The thing with staying quiet, possibly in a front row, who knows? I don't know. So I want Dan to win. We're gonna now. Here's the deal. Like we can talk more about stuff for Spectacular, but at the same time, next Monday, November 29th, at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we're going to be over on the Watt Real Entertainment channel. In place of Spin from the Real next week, they will be having a Schmoe Me the Real. That is normally our Friday show that we do post pay-per-view. We're going to be doing a special version of that one on Monday as a Spectacular preview. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
There's going to be a lot of yelling because first of all, Matt and Shug yell at each other. And most of the time when they have their shows, I'm in the chat and I'm pretty adamant with my comments, so it'll be fun to be on screen with them for that.
Yeah, but like no one wants to like hear your comments because you say shit like, "Oh, I love Man of." You hate when the truth is uttered, don't you? He says shit like, "Oh, I love Man of Steel."
No, I just hate you. I just hate you, bud.
Yeah, I don't like to hear that slander.
Everyone, I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched our content this year. I know it kind of changed in the middle of the year. We did our panel shows for a good amount of the season.
We might have one again eventually, but like, I don't know. It became too much. We tried it. It was fun.
It was. It was different for a bit. We enjoyed it for sure. But it became just with everyone's schedules, it just became a little bit more difficult to get people on that weren't talking about their matches. First of all, that was, I think, the most difficult part is with the schedule really changing a lot. Like there'd be sometimes where the announced schedule was not the release scheduled.
And sometimes we didn't even know what the matches were going to be until the day it fucking dropped.
So it's really hard to schedule to get people on because it can get a little awkward if you have them talking about their faction mate or just someone they know well.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I would love to bring it back. I definitely enjoyed doing it. So Joey B, thanks for stopping by, my man.
What is up?
Appreciate it as always.
Somehow we were able to stretch 3 matches into an hour. We had a lot of spectacular and other comments stuff that we talked about. I mean, like this feels like it dragged on way too long. You know, like the last hour of Man of Steel.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.